Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. We are live right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is a very special live. Today is Wednesday, W-I-N-S, Wednesday, November the 9th. The time here is 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you are in the world, whatever the time is that you're watching this show, we're here live Wednesday, November the 9th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I wanted to take a few minutes to jump on a live for a special conversation that I want to have with you. It's really information that you have to wrap your mind around, especially if you're an entrepreneur, okay? So if you're coming on, joining me live, first of all, thank you for joining the Ramonepreston Show on this beautiful Wednesday, W-I-N-S day afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. We typically come on around 12 o'clock noon. Of course, I had a lot of things going on today, so I didn't make it at 12 o'clock noon, but I wanted to make sure I circled back around before the day was over with to share some information with you. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. Okay, wherever you're watching me from, put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. And I've got a few interactive questions that I want to ask you, a few interactive instructions that I want to give to you. So hopefully you have a few minutes to spend with me. If you have any questions that you would like for me to answer with regard to your business, to your finances, or to anything that has to do with your business, whether it's systems, processes, people, or products, or even some ideas that you have, feel free to put the questions in the comments. My squad and I, we will be more than happy to take those questions and answer those questions. So again, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. This is actually a later in the afternoon live edition. I'm normally here at 12 o'clock noon, but today it's the 3:30 Eastern Standard Time hour, and I wanted to at least show up today for a few minutes to talk to you about how you can lower your tax liability, how you can lower your tax liability. So before I get into some of this information during this conversation, this discussion that we're going to have today, here's what I want to know from you. Are you a W-2 employee? Are you a 1099 independent contractor? Or are you a legitimate business owner? Are you a legitimate business owner? If you would be so kind, maybe you don't want people to know your business for whatever the reason is, but for those of you that are at least open and transparent enough, because that's a whole nother conversation to have with all these entrepreneurs who got private pages, everything they do is under the radar. They don't want nobody to know what they got going on. They trying to move in silence. And the people who do that, by the way, the entrepreneurs who do that, they ain't really doing that. And they ain't really making no money. They ain't really making no power moves, because the business owners and the businesses that's making power moves, everybody know about them. Everybody knows most of the things that they're doing publicly because they've opened themselves up to be transparent. So that's just a footnote for all of you entrepreneurs who just feel like you can't tell nobody none of your business for whatever the reason is. But for those of you who can, I want you to put in the comments to let me know, are you a W-2 employee? Are you a 1099 contractor? Or are you a legitimate EIN business owner, meaning that you got an EIN number, you got an LLC, a S Corp, or a C Corp? Just let me know in the comments. Maybe you are all three. Maybe you're a W-2 employee, you do some 1099 work, and you got a business. But just let me know in the comments. And one of the reasons why I'm asking that question is because the idea of lowering your tax bill, the idea of figuring out how to lower your tax liability is something that only a few people on this planet really understand. Now, all this week, if you've been tracking me on the show, I've been talking about this income ladder of success to give you a gauge, a visual idea of where you want to be financially in your life. I'll just show it to you real quick. But all this week I've been talking about this income ladder of success. This is a diagram that I use in my online courses. This is a diagram that I provide for my coaching clients and mentees to give them an idea of where they should be financially. And it helps them to see where they are. This diagram represents 100% of households in America. 29% of households are considered poor class, meaning that they make $32,000 or less. 70% of households in America are considered middle class, meaning that they make either $32,000 to $60,000 a year. That's lower middle class. $60,000 to $110,000. That's the middle of the middle. And upper middle class, $110,000 to a little shy of $400,000. Then you have the 1%. So think about it. 99% of the United States households or households in America, 99% are either poor class or somewhere in the middle. Only 1% of American households make $400,000 or more a year. So it really don't matter where you are on this diagram or in your income class. Everybody has one of the same similar problems. So whether you are a W-2 employee, I'm not even spelling employee right. Whether you are a W-2 employee, whether you are a 1099 contractor, or whether you are a EIN or LLC business owner, you, my friend, you bruh, you sis, you have the same similar issue that everybody else has. It doesn't matter if you are a W-2 employee, a 1099 contractor, or EIN LLC business owner. You know the same similar problem all three categories of people have? I'm gonna tell you what that problem is. That problem is this: taxes. I heard somebody say there are two things that are certain in this lifetime. That's death and taxes. But I'm telling you something. If you start educating yourself on the strategies and the solutions that people who are up here in the 1% use, if you start learning the strategies and the solutions that this group of people use on a regular basis, taxes will not be your problem. Most of the people who have tax problems, and all you got to do is Google this stuff I'm talking about and do your own research. Most of the people who have tax problems, meaning that they're paying too much in taxes, they're being beat across their head in taxes, and they really don't know how to minimize them or to some extent lower them and eliminate them. Most of the people who have that problem are people who are right here, either the poor class or people in the middle class. Very few people that's a part of this 1% find themselves with tax issues. And it's not just because they have a good tax accountant. It's not just because they got an amazing CFO in their business. And these people that are in the 1% that own businesses, most of these people are educated on the strategies and the solutions that you and I should be using so that we can not only lower these things called taxes, so we can also take that money that we have and that we're generating throughout the year and increase our profits. So again, I want you to put in the comments, what category are you in? Are you in the W-2 employee category? Are you in the 1099 contractor category? Or are you in the EIN LLC business owner category? Or are you in all of the above? Because if you are in any of these categories, which most people in America are, most people in the world are either W-2 employees, they're contractors or business owners. It doesn't matter what category you in, you still have the same issue. You still have the same issue, taxes. Now, here's the thing. Why is taxes such a big issue? Which for many people, they don't even acknowledge how big of an issue taxes are. Most people that work jobs, most people that contract work, most people that own businesses, because I talk to these people all the time, most people don't even acknowledge or even recognize, or they ain't even aware how much of an issue taxes is. Because they just think it's just something that they got to deal with. It's kind of like, you know, if you live in a community where the mob is or the gangs are, and they just taxing you every week when you get paid. You just got to pay to play or pay to live. That's how people treat tax liabilities. But if you're going to become financially free, that's if you want to now. If you don't want to become financially free, you need to change the channel. But if you plan on becoming financially free, or if you have a desire to be financially free, I mean, do you want to be financially free? I'm really asking you that question. Do you want to get the bag and keep the bag and multiply the bag? I mean, do you really want to be a millionaire? Do you want to get rich and be wealthy? Do you have those types of aspirations? I'm telling you, even if you don't believe me right now, one day you're going to look back and say, hey, the dude told me I got to figure this part out. And I keep telling especially entrepreneurs this. See, here's why a lot of people, I'll say most people in all of these categories, here's why most of these people don't acknowledge and don't really pay attention to this big issue of taxes. One of the reasons is most people who come from being W-2 employees, even when they become independent contractors or business owners, they still got the mindset of an employee. They still got a 9-to-5 mindset. And so you could be working a job and then you start a little side hustle. It could be a network marketing job. It could be doing hair on the side, cutting grass, painting, doing some marketing or designing for people, whatever your skill set is. A lot of people who got jobs, they start these side hustles. They start doing work on their days off. They start trying to subcontract their services and their skills and their abilities. But they never think about the big issue of taxes. So the more money they make, guess what? If they got a W-2 job, the more money they pay. That's why having one job and then going to get a second W-2 job because you need to make more money or because you ain't making enough money on your first job, that's one of the craziest, really just ridiculous decisions you can make. Because even though you're going to get a second job, but you're going to also get a second job to pay more taxes. So what you should be doing is trying to figure out what is the best way that I can increase my profitability while simultaneously lowering or decreasing my tax liability. This is all about strategies. This is all about the right business and financial solutions. And so whether you are in the W-2 category, the 1099, or the EIN LLC business owner category, your biggest issue is taxes. And again, if you working under the table, if you getting paid and you ain't reporting, then none of this really applies to you. So it don't matter to you because you just don't care. You just gonna be ratchet and you just gonna do your little shady stuff every week or every month or every year, and you're really not moving forward. You're really not getting ahead. Because there was a time when I was just the W-2 employee. There was a time I was just the 1099 contractor and I wasn't doing right. I wasn't really managing my money. I really wasn't educating myself on these strategies and solutions. And I continued to find myself like literally just spinning my wheels until I started and structured a legitimate business, until I hired the right professional experts like tax strategists and accountants and attorneys to help me and to work with me, until I elevated my game as a real legitimate business consultant and coach and educator myself, because I had to educate myself. It wasn't until then that I realized that the people up here in the 1%, they moving different. They moving different. And so you might have your own ideas and your own opinions and your own views and your own perspectives about people in this 1%. Oh, they need to pay more taxes and they ain't doing right and they leaving everything for the people at the bottom. But what you have to understand is if you are somewhere in this middle or in this red at the bottom, there are ways that you can come up out of this thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are listening to somebody who grew up below this bottom. My grandmother raised me, okay? And my grandmother, up until the time she died back in 1993, she never made more than maybe $160 a week. Maybe $140, $150 a week. That's the most my grandma made. And I know it because she used to always tell me, and I used to go back and forth to work with her. She used to get paid every Friday. And if I'm not mistaken, she got paid cash. $150 a week. And one of the other reasons why I know a lot about my grandma's financial situation is my grandma was old school, and our landlord lived across the street. And back then, my grandma would give you a note, and you would take the note to the landlord. I'll read it on the way there because I'm being nosy. And I would read that she's saying, I got 80 now, I'll pay you 80 later, because the rent was like $160 a month. I only get paid this. She would write this stuff down. There were times I would go to Winn-Dixie and give the manager at Winn-Dixie a note, and I'll read the note on my way across town to give the manager the note, and my grandma say, can you get me 2 loaves of bread and some milk and this, that, and the other until next Friday when I get paid, and I'll pay you the $20 back or whatever. And the manager used to do that. So I'm just sharing this with you so that you can see and understand that you're listening to somebody who hasn't always been up here in the 1%. I'm grateful to be where I am, but I know what it feels like to be like down here at the bottom of the 29%. And I know that it is possible because I'm living it. As a matter of fact, somebody responded and commented to one of my videos. My son, he's my social media manager. He's a content creator. He works for our company. And my son put up a video the other day. I think it was on TikTok. And you know how just some idiot comes on there and people just be trolling and you know, they be lurking and they be commenting, voicing their opinions. I really don't even respond to these idiots because, number one, when somebody puts a negative comment on one of my posts and I look at their profile and they ain't doing nothing with their life, they got a cat for their picture or avatar, I know they're a loser. So I'm not wasting my time with them. But this particular person responded to a video that I was talking about these particular percentages, and they said BS. Basically, it ain't no way you'll ever make it to the 1%. I'm like, duh, if you do your research, I'm in the 1%. This is just how stupid you are. But because they don't do their research, they don't know that. But for you, I'm telling you, it is possible for you to get up here. Now, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a mindset. It's going to take extraordinary skill sets. It's going to take time and patience. It's definitely going to take certain sophisticated strategies and solutions that people up here use. So a lot of the stuff you hear me talking about, holding companies, creative tax strategies, systems and processes, all of these things are strategies and solutions that people up here use that not only get them here, but keep them here. So, okay, you didn't hit the jackpot, the Powerball, right? You didn't hit it. You ain't the billionaire today. That might be one in every so many hundreds of millions of people that hit the lottery. Okay, that wasn't your windfall. So my point is, if you ain't hit the lottery, if your grandmama and granddaddy ain't leave you an inheritance, if you ain't booed up with somebody who balling out of control, how are you going to get to a place to where you financially free? How you going to get to a place to where you ever become a millionaire? Or maybe you're a person who wanted to be there. You dreamed about it, but you done gave up. You done gave up in your mind. You decided to make sense of struggling somewhere in this middle or this bottom, and now you done checked out of the game. But if you want to check back in the game, I'm telling you, there is a way that you could get up there to the 1%. One of the ways is for you to educate yourself about these principles and concepts that I'm talking about. Because if I give you a strategy, if I give you a solution to build your business, to make more sales, to market your business better, to structure it better, or to lower your taxes or whatever. If I give you any of these strategies and solutions, but your mindset ain't right, you ain't gonna use them. And even if you start using them, you're going to get disappointed. I was just telling my squad that today, and I try to tell them that all the time. If I have to tell them every day, it don't matter because it looks like things are not moving. They're moving. As long as you moving, they're moving. Things are going to always keep moving for me and my wife. You know why? Because every day we going to get up and we going to move. We going to make moves. So I'm going to make it happen. So at some point, something is going to have to happen. And that's the same mindset that you got to have. Now, let me share a few things with you about these three different categories. You have W-2 employees. Most people who are W-2 employees pay at least 30% in taxes. At least 30%. People who are in the 1099 contractor category pay anywhere from maybe 20% or more in taxes. Now, again, I'm not the tax expert. I'm not claiming to be the tax guy. That ain't me. I'm an entrepreneur who understands a lot of these concepts. Number one, because I educate myself on them. I study, I learn, I read books, I pay for courses that are sold by people who are experts, not just some internet gurus who trying to trick me into buying something they don't know nothing about. I personally have a tax strategist that I pay on a regular retainer basis because we every quarter check in with each other, and most of the times we'll do it on a month-to-month basis. I got them on speed dial, but we definitely check in every quarter to make sure that we're on track. My tax strategist has access to my QuickBooks account so that they can go in and see what I made, what I spent, how much is left, what my potential tax liability can be. In other words, a lot of the stuff I'm saying, I'm not just saying because I think it's cool to say. I'm saying it because I'm living it in my business, and I know how important it is for a business. Like when I first hired my tax strategist, I didn't have the financial freedom and the financial stability and the success in business that I have today. But because I was so educated on a lot of these concepts and principles, my tax strategist personally told me when we sat down for our first consultation and meeting, he was like, listen, I don't even take people that don't make a certain amount of money, don't have a certain threshold, but I respect the fact that you have done the due diligence you've done to educate yourself, to know about systems like QuickBooks, to know about certain tax strategies and certain write-offs and deductions and how to really manage your financial activities in your personal life and in your business life. And that's what really sold him on even working with me. Okay. And so now years later, I know a lot of these principles that I have put to practice, a lot of these concepts that I have studied, researched, and that I've been taught by him. I know they work because I'm working them. Like, it's very important for you to understand that. And so you got this category that typically pays maybe 30% or more in taxes. The 1099s pay 20% or more, and typically the business owner may pay 10% or more. And again, you could give and take this, but I'm just going to show you that even when you just look at the general typical taxes that these three categories pay, is always lower for this group of people. It's always typically lower because, number one, when you work in a W-2 job, they getting theirs off the bat. You ain't even got no choice in the matter, right? You ain't deciding if they do it or not unless you're readjusting your W-4. So there are certain strategies that you can lower your federal tax liability with, like exemptions or allowances. But for the most part, they getting theirs off top. As a 1099, people who are typically 1099s, the reason why they still pay 20% or more in taxes. And I know a lot of people who are 1099s who pay more than 20% in taxes. And one of the main reasons why they still pay a lot in taxes like they W-2 employees, because they still think like W-2 employees. They hadn't educated themselves. They don't have no courses that they're learning. And again, you can think people like me who sell courses and who sell coaching programs to help you with these things. You can think it's a waste of time if you want to. But I know people who got master degrees that have sat in colleges. I've got clients who are like some of the most educated people on the planet that have told me, I ain't learned none of this, dog. Or, sir, I haven't learned any of this in college. So it's not like a lot of these sophisticated strategies that you have to implement in your business to lower your tax liability and profit and increase your profitability. It's not like you're learning these things in some traditional college. And I'm not going to sit here and knock colleges. What I'm saying is, even if you do have a formal education, even if you have excelled academically, you still need to learn business principles and concepts, financial principles and concepts as an entrepreneur, if that's the direction in life that you're going. Because this group of people who are business owners, most of the times, these business owners are not paying a whole lot in taxes because there are certain things that they have learned. There are certain things that they do, like the business coaching program and mentorship program that I'm a part of for myself and for my company. We have thousands of people that I meet up with regularly in these programs and on live Zooms and in meetings, and we travel different places to meet up. And all these business owners in there are learning the things that I'm telling you about. And so when I talk to entrepreneurs and business owners who don't know none of this, they ain't trying to learn none of this because they really don't think it's real. You'd be surprised at how many entrepreneurs just don't think it's real. A lot of entrepreneurs don't think that it is possible. A lot of entrepreneurs don't think that it is possible to get to the 1%. So you need to start there and believe that you can get to the 1%. Okay? And so let's talk about a few ways on how you can lower your tax liability. The first thing you need to do to lower your tax liability is you need to familiarize yourself with a financial management system like QuickBooks. This is where it's going to start at right here. So because I've talked to a couple people this week, couple entrepreneurs this week, and they always talking that crazy talk. Yeah, I wanna lower my taxes. I don't want to pay no taxes. I want to lower my taxes. I want to learn the write-off game. And then one of the questions I ask them is, do you know how to use, or are you familiar with any financial management system like QuickBooks? Well, no, I ain't got to that yet. How you going to use these strategies? Like, this is one of the first things you got to do. This is why financial management systems like QuickBooks is one of the main things that I teach my students and my clients on understanding. Because if you're going to put certain practices together, financial practices, tax strategy type practices, if you're going to use these types of practices and strategies, you need a system to use them in. I hope I'm making sense to you. You need a system to use them in. You need a system. So if you are tracking your income and expenses with papers and physical ledgers, come on, you are not in 25 years ago. You got to come up to speed. If you do not know how to use these type of systems so that when you do learn the strategies and principles, you can implement them, you need to learn this. You need to familiarize yourself with it. That's why in my coaching program, one of the workshops that I host for my clients is a workshop on financial systems, because I want you to understand that the moment you start a business, okay, like the moment you make a decision that you're going to start a business, okay, you got your business. I don't care if it's a holding company. It could be a holding company. It could be a holding company with subsidiaries. I don't care what you do. If you start a business, once your business is started, the first thing you need to be focusing on in your business are the things that center around systems. So for example, you got to have products to sell, and you have to have a sales system and process. You have products you have to market. You got to do marketing. You got to have a system and process for your marketing. Once you start marketing, and marketing should be first, but once you start marketing your business that you start and selling products and services, guess what the next problem you're going to have? You're going to have to manage your financial activities. You got to manage how much money come in and how much money go out. And then once you start doing that on a regular basis, you're going to have to learn how to build some type of operational system. So I'm showing you, business is not about you having a beautiful logo. Business ain't about you having a domain name. Business ain't about you having t-shirts and hats, like this. This is not what business is not about, that having t-shirts and hoodies and hats to match. Business ain't about you having a building and having a marquee and getting a sign. And business is not about that. I'm telling you what business is about. Business is about, of course, having a structure, but even more importantly than having a structure, business is about having products and services that you can market, products and services that you can sell, and the financial activities that you're generating through marketing and selling your products and services need to be put in a financial system. If not, you ain't gonna never have no business operation. You ain't gonna never have one. So again, the first thing you need to do if you want to learn how to lower your tax liability, I'm telling you what the first thing is you need to do. You need to familiarize yourself with a financial management system like QuickBooks. And again, if you do not know how to use QuickBooks, stop using this lame excuse. Well, I got to hire a bookkeeper. I need to find a virtual assistant. I need somebody to help me. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you can't afford that. You ain't got the money. You ain't making sales. So how you going to hire somebody to do that for you unless you got a spouse who's willing to learn it? See, you're listening to somebody who started a business from the ground up, from scratch, just from an idea. Everything that I have built, my wife and I, within the last 20 years, started right here. Started right here in this big old head of mine. And there was a time I was the only person responsible running my systems and my processes. I didn't even put that on my wife. I had to learn how to operate QuickBooks. I had to learn about marketing. I had to learn about sales. I had to learn about being a CEO. I had to learn about products and services. I had to learn these things. I had to learn about infrastructures. I had to learn how to lower my tax liability and maximize my profitability. So what I'm telling you, I can pretty much say I'm telling you this on an expert level. Because if you talk to an expert in business, if you talk to a business consultant in business, if you go hire a business coach in business, hopefully they're going to tell you, if you want to lower them taxes, you need to familiarize yourself with financial management systems like QuickBooks, okay? Because this is where you're going to house all your activities. Now, if you ain't making no money in your business, you don't need to lower your taxes because you ain't got no tax bill, right? All you got is expenses. But even if you just got expenses and no profits coming through your business, you still need some type of financial management system to track your expenses. So you can at least get into the end of the year, into next year when you do your taxes for your business and show a loss because all you did was spend money for your business. That's how you start getting into the game of understanding how these strategies actually work. So I would love to know, just in the comments, like, where are you? Where is your knowledge? Where is your knowledge when it comes to financial management systems? Do you know nothing about QuickBooks or any financial management system? Do you know a little? Or do you know a lot? And maybe you have another type of financial management system. Like, they have more systems out there than QuickBooks. I personally like QuickBooks because that's all I've pretty much ever used. When I first started using QuickBooks, I was using the desktop QuickBooks. And then once they came out with QuickBooks Online, I started using QuickBooks Online, and I've stuck with it. And we're actually ambassadors for QuickBooks. So that means if you need to set up a QuickBooks account, you can always reach out to me and to my team, and we can send you a link where you're able, through that link, to get up to a 55% discount on starting your QuickBooks account, okay? So if you need a QuickBooks account and you want to set one up, I'll be more than happy to share that information with you, okay? So the first thing you need to do is you need to familiarize yourself with a financial management system like QuickBooks, all right? That's the first thing that you need to do, all right? Now, if you haven't done that, and you know you need some help with that, you have a couple options, okay? One option is you can find a company or someone who actually is certified to train you in QuickBooks, okay? Like, there are people who are certified and trained to train you in QuickBooks. As a matter of fact, when I was living on the south side of Atlanta, my current executive administrator, I sent her to our CPA at the time that we had down there on the south side, and they were certified to train. And she actually got training on QuickBooks, and I think she was being trained on the desktop version. It was, it was probably 6-7 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But she was training on that. So there are people out there who could train you if you want to. Now, if you want to learn QuickBooks more from an entrepreneur's perspective, if you want to learn it like I know it and use it like I use it, I think the way I use it and how I've learned to use it, I know it complements and makes it easier for what my CPA and tax strategist does. Because by the time I get with them, I pretty much have everything ironed out. All they got to do is tweak it. So there are some things that they have to tweak. Maybe some wording is wrong. Maybe there's some categories that's misplaced. But for the most part, it's easy breezy for my CPA and tax strategist because I do so well with keeping it together. And I have a team that helps me keep it current and keep it together. But if you just need an entrepreneur's perspective on how to use QuickBooks and how to learn it, I have courses, I have workshops, video-based workshops and workbooks that walk you through the configuration. One of the most gratifying compliments that I got from one of my coaching clients the other week was that they walked through the workshop that I have on my educational platform, and they took the notes and used the workbook, and they actually set up their own QuickBooks account. They started configuring it. They basically just followed my directions and instructions. So if you want access to that course and to that workshop, I'd be more than happy to give you access to that workshop and that course on QuickBooks. I have a whole workshop on financial systems. I actually have a whole program just on financial systems if you want access to that. So again, the first thing that you need to do to lower your tax liability is you want to familiarize yourself with a financial management system like QuickBooks. And please let me know when it comes to financial management systems like QuickBooks, let me know what you know about it. Do you know nothing? Do you know little? Or do you know a lot? I would love to know that. So please put in the comments and let me know how much you actually know about QuickBooks. Now, I'm not going to have time to go through all the steps that you need to like implement to lower your tax liability. But here's what I'm going to say about it. I teach my students 10 steps to lower your tax liability. Okay, 10 steps. I teach my students 10 steps to lower your tax liability. And I don't know how much time I'm going to have today to get through all 10 of them, but I'll just do my best because I'm not going to really be able to write them all down. I'll just read a few of them. Number one, you need to subtract your total expenses from your total profits year to date. All right. So let me just see if I can get through as many as I can. So number one, you need to subtract. You need to subtract. But again, if you do not have a financial management system, what I'm saying to you ain't gonna make sense. It ain't gonna work. So again, the first step to lowering your tax liability is to subtract your total expenses from your total profits year to date. So what that means is you got to go into your QuickBooks account, like I'm giving you like one-on-one. You got to go into your QuickBooks account. You got to go to your QuickBooks account, and you got to go to your reports. You got to go to reports. This is how you do it. You go to your reports and you do a year-to-date report. That means you're going to do from January 1 of 2022 all the way to, let's say, November the 9th. This is how you subtract all your total expenses from your total profit. So if you went to your QuickBooks account, again, or whatever financial management system you have, you should be able to pull up a report, a year-to-date report from January 1st of this year all the way to November 9th. Now, again, if what I'm saying to you don't make sense, you need to call me. You really need to reach out to me because I need to either put you on my Millionaire Blueprint program, the educational program we have, or I need to enroll you in my 1-year coaching program, because I promise you, I'm telling you this, at least you know you're hearing it from somebody who knows it's real. If you ever get to a point to where you start making money in your business around November of every year, when that happens, you're probably going to have a tax strategist or a CPA, somebody who is an expert, that's going to be reaching out to you, that you're going to start working with to do what they call forecasting. They're going to do this. And depending on your relationship with them and depending on how good you are and how much you pay them, you might be doing this every quarter. Like every 3 months, every 90 days, you'll be doing this. See, I do this every 90 days, like literally. I do this 4 times a year, at least. And really, once you get good at it and you got a team, you could be doing it every week or every month, but definitely every quarter. Because the goal is for you to make money. That means bring in profits. Look at what your total profits are, minus your expenses to see what is left. This is just the first step. I've got 10 steps that you need to go through, because what has to happen is you gotta keep fleshing back through all your financial activities in order to figure out the most creative ways to lower your overall tax liability. So like, this is so important. I hope what I'm saying to you makes enough sense for you to know that, man, this dude know what he's talking about. Because I'm telling you, I've been doing this long enough to know this is what works. And this is how you start. Let's go back to the beginning. This is how you start making your way up to that 1%. So I'm asking you again, if you're in the red, you make $32,000 or less. If you're in the yellow, if you're considered middle class in terms of income, do you want to make the 1%? Do you believe being in the 1% can change your life? Do you believe it'll change the quality of your life? Do you believe that it is worth you educating yourself, putting in the work, getting around the right people to get to that 1%? Because if you think it's not possible, I should show you it's possible. You're listening to a black man who has a criminal background. I was raised in the hood. I was a drug addict. I was just a drug addicted criminal. My parents were drug addicts. I was raised in that lifestyle. And I lived that lifestyle up until 2 months shy of turning 21. That was 25 years ago. So up until 1997, I was a heathen. I was ratchet. I was a drug addicted criminal. And it was 25 years ago that I got saved in a trap house, in a drug house. I stopped going to jail. I stopped getting high. I stopped trapping. I stopped running the streets. I stopped doing all the other things that I don't want to mention on this live 25 years ago. And for the past 25 years, I've been on this path, this straight and narrow path of righteousness. Five years into my new life, that's 20 years ago, I met my beautiful wife. My wife and I decided to get married, and we decided that we were going to build an empire together, that we were going to do something special, because I always knew I was an entrepreneur and that's all I wanted to do. And that's when I started getting serious about educating myself, learning as much as I can about getting up here. And I've done just that every year for the last 20 years. It's been hard. It ain't been easy, but I can promise you it's well worth it. And if that's where you are in your mind, you have to learn these principles and strategies that I'm talking about. So I should have some time tomorrow and Friday to get through more of these steps. This is just one step, but I'm just showing you that if you want to get in the game, you got to educate yourself about these things. You got to learn these principles and concepts, and you have to incrementally add them to your day-to-day activities. This ain't gonna happen overnight. It happens over time. That's why I put my program together as a 1-year program, because I know, I just told someone I was meeting with the other day, they wanted to know more about my coaching program. And I told them the reason why it's a 1-year program, because I've done the research. I'm the business consultant. I'm supposed to be the expert. I've done the research. I know it takes at least 1 year for you to properly start a business, structure it, integrate the systems and the processes, and start putting them to practice before you really start seeing enough results that you can prove the principles you're learning actually work. So I put together a 1-year mentorship program. It's called the Millionaire Mentorship Program. And what I provide for you in that 1-year program is access to my online training program called the Millionaire Blueprint. Everything that I'm talking about, I have courses on. I've got courses on holding companies, how to start and structure them, how to file and form your paperwork, how to draft operating agreements. I have courses on the income ladder of success, 5 steps to become a millionaire, the ABCs of financial literacy, creative cash flow strategies. I have courses on creative tax strategies. I've got courses on how to start and structure your business, and how to integrate systems for your operations, for your financials, for your sales and your marketing. I also provide for you in this mentorship program a one-on-one coaching session. So we have an initial session. We take about an hour or so to sit down with you, and we put together a game plan to set the trajectory for where you want to go. We look at everything you do in your business or everything you want to do, and we show you what the best infrastructure is. We talk about your products and your services to see how they need to be priced, how they need to be packaged, how they need to be presented, how you need to be positioned in your company. We talk about your brand. We talk about your messaging, your marketing, your sales. We show you how to put a sales process together. We have a sample script to give you. We give you strategies on marketing. We show you how to set up your QuickBooks, how to configure it to fit you, how to implement these tax strategies. Like I'm telling you, if you give me and my team 1 year, we ain't no joke around here. I see what a lot of coaches are doing right now. Everybody and their uncle is a business coach today. Everybody's got coaching programs today. Everybody's an online educator today. But very few people, and I have watched my competitors. I was just talking to my team today about one of my competitors who sent me an email about their $18,000 coaching program. And I'm looking at what they're doing, and I'm like, shh. It ain't no reason why we shouldn't be making a whole lot of money and doing a whole lot of business, because they ain't doing nothing. They ain't giving you nothing. They ain't got no online courses. I got a whole online university. I've got coaching sessions. We do weekly coaching calls. We do quarterly workshops. I have a whole program put together to make it work for you within that year. So I would love to have an opportunity to speak with you and to share more information with you. Again, that's it's all up to you. If you know you want to take your business and your finances to the next level, and you know you stuck, and you know a lot of the things that I'm talking to you about sound like a foreign language because you're not familiar with it, I want you to reach out to me. All you have to do is text me. Just text me the word millionaire. Okay? Text millionaire to 404-478-7213. Text millionaire to that number, and allow me and my team to take a few minutes to speak with you and to see where you are, what you're doing, where you would like to go, and we could share information with you on what our program can do, what our resources can provide for you, and we can help you, scale your business to the next level. So I look forward to hearing from you. Just text millionaire to 404-478-7213. Again, if you are watching this edition of our live today, it's later in the afternoon. It's 4:21 p.m. right now. It's been almost an hour. We came on at 3:30 p.m. Eastern as an afternoon special edition, because I really want you as an entrepreneur to end this year strong. Every year around this time, the people, oh my God, I can't say it enough, because I'm doing it, and I know people who are doing it. Every year around this time, the people who are in the 1%, they looking at forecasting. That's what we're doing right now. We're forecasting. We start forecasting. This is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing, my company is doing, and this is what I know a whole lot of people in the 1% is doing. Broke people ain't doing it. And I guess I say that respectfully, but hey, it is what it is. Because I've been broke. But when I was broke, I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't educating myself on that. I wasn't putting myself around those people, and I couldn't be around those people because I wasn't willing to pay to play. And so if you're willing to pay to play, this is what happens. You get access to this kind of information. You can't be mad because people charging for this information. They supposed to charge. They've done the work to know this stuff. Of course they're going to charge you. And if they charging you an arm and a leg, I'd rather pay an arm and a leg than have an arm and a leg that ain't doing no good. That's just my way of thinking. But people who are in the 1%, like me and my company, this is what we're doing right now. We're forecasting. We are looking for the most creative ways to write things off, to find more business deductions, to lower our potential tax liability while maximize our profitability, so that when we leave 2022, we won't be paying a whole lot of taxes next year, if any at all, because we've done our due diligence now through strategies like forecasting to lower our tax liability. So all you got to do is just archive this video. Just save this video. And one day in the future, come back to this video when everything I'm saying is true, and you're going to be like, oh my God, this dude was giving us free game on the internet, telling us all this stuff. Because one or two things going to happen. Either you're going to stay stuck wherever you are and get worse, because that's what's happening to a lot of people. A lot of people who are in the middle right now, they're not going up to the 1%. Most of the people in the 70%, they're either going to stay stuck or go lower. That's what they're going to end up doing. That's what they're doing. Very few people are pushing through this 70% and getting up to the 1%. So if you down here in the 29% or the 70%, I want to show you how to get up here. Let me get another. Where's another color at? I want to show you how to get up here. This is where I want you to be. I want to get you up here to that 1%. I want to show you how to get there. I do not want you here. Okay? I do not want you here. I want you there. But how are you going to get there if you don't pay to get in the right room, to take these courses, get coaching, and create a game plan for at least the next year. I promise you, there's no way you're going to put a game plan together for your business and finances for the next year and be in the same place you is now. It's impossible. It's impossible. So, hey, appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining the show today. Be sure to put in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from this special edition this Wednesday afternoon. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, November the 10th, right here, same place, same time, but 12 o'clock noon, not 3:30, 12 o'clock noon, right here on the Ramonepreston Show. Peace.